Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Aska, and in this tutorial we are going to learn how to crochet this crochet waffle stitch skirt. It's a very simple pattern to make, and it's a beginner friendly tutorial. So if you are new to my channel, please subscribe and click the notification bell so that you don't miss out every time I post a tutorial. So without saying much, let's get to it. So these are the materials that you're going to need. You'll need a pair of scissors, darning needle to weave in your loose ends. You'll need a tape measure to take your waist measurements, hip measurements, and the height of the skirt. You're also going to need a 3.5mm crochet hook and yarn. So for the yarn, I'm going to use these two colors. The purple one will be the major color, and we'll just decorate it with a green color. So I'm using this Winter King. This is a Kenyan brand, and it's a medium weight yarn. So I'm going to use a single strand. But for this one, this is Robin, and it's a fingering weight yarn. It's a lightweight yarn. So I'm going to double the strand for this one. You can see the difference. This one is thinner than this. Okay, so you're going to double the strand for this, but this one I'll just use a single strand. Okay, so let us start. So before you begin, you're going to consider your waist measurements. Also, you need to note that this skirt is made to fit. So if you just follow the instructions well, you're going to make any size that you want. Okay, so let us start. First of all, you're going to start by making a knot. That way. Now you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Yarn over and into the first chain. This one, the very first chain, insert your hook, pull up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, that way. So that is a double crochet. Yarn over, insert your hook into this stitch at the back of your work. Okay, here these 2 stitches, just insert your hook there, pull up a loop, pull through 1, pull through 2, and pull through 2, that way. So you are making foundation double crochets. Yarn over, insert your hook into that stitch, that way, pull up a loop, pull through 1, then pull through 2, and pull through 2. Yarn over, just repeat the same thing now. Okay, and you're going to repeat this until you achieve your waist measurements. Okay, this is how it looks like. So you're going to continue with this until you achieve your waist measurements. And also your number of stitches should be in multiples of 3. And these 3 chains that we made here is not counted as a stitch. So the first stitch is this one. So 1, 2, 3. Make sure the amount of chains that you get should be in multiples of 3, and they should measure your waist measurements. Okay, so continue and you're going to meet after that. So I made 108 stitches. So if you divide those by 3, you get 36. So let's take the measurements and see. So I was working with a waist measurement of 30 inches. I'm doing a medium size. So when it's not stretched, and I'm folding it into 2. So when you take your measurements, you need to consider that you have 2 of them. So you will multiply by 2. So when it's not stretched, it measures 12.5 inches, but I wanted 30 inches, so this should stretch to 15 inches. You see, it can stretch up to the 15 inches I was looking for. Okay, so just stretch your work a little bit, not much. Okay, now let us start the first row. First of all, you're going to join this to form a circle. So make sure your work is not coiled, and you're going to go into the first stitch that we made here and make a slip stitch. that way. So this end you'll just join it to the first stitch of this other side. And make a slip stitch. Okay, now we can start the second row, not the first row. Already you have done the first row, so you're going to chain 2 and turn your work. Now you're going to yarn over and into the first stitch, which is this one, make a double crochet, yarn over and go to the next stitch, which is this one, and do a double crochet front post. So insert your hook that way, then make your double crochet that way, yarn over and go to the next stitch with a double crochet, and into the next one with a double crochet, then into the next with a double crochet front post. So this is the next one, that way. Into the next 2 you're going to do 1 double crochet in each, that way, yarn over and go to the next one with a double crochet front post, that way. Into the next 2 just do 1 double crochet in each, then your front post, then 2 double crochets, then a front post, and just keep repeating the same pattern all round, and you're going to meet when you're almost at the end. I'm almost at the end of the row, and right now I have 2 stitches left. So into the next stitch I'm going to do a front post, and your last stitch should be a double crochet, just like that. And this is how it looks like. Now you're going to join the row with a slip stitch to the first stitch here, then chain 2 and turn your work. Then you're going to yarn over and into the first stitch, which is this one, you're going to do a front post double crochet. So this is how you do your front post double crochet, just like that. Into the next stitch you'll just do a double crochet, then into the next 2 you're going to do a front post double crochet in each. Into the next you do a double crochet, then into the next 2 you do a double crochet front post, just like that. Into the next one a double crochet, then into the next 2 you do your front posts, then a double crochet, then 2 front posts, then a double crochet, just like that. Keep repeating the same pattern now all round, and this is how it looks like. This is the right side of your work and this is the wrong side of your work. So keep repeating the same pattern all round, and you're going to meet at the end of the row. I'm almost getting to the end of the row. And my last stitch will be a double crochet front post. Okay, then you're going to join with a slip stitch, and that is how it looks like. So you're going to chain 2, turn your work, and before we begin the next row we need to mark 2 points on the hip area, because you need to do some increases. So you're going to count your stitches and mark 2 points here and here, and also you're going to mark them on this stitch, the front posts, these ones. Okay, so mark 1 here and 1 on this other side. Now I have marked the 2 points here and here, and as you can see the stitch that I marked is this double crochet front post. Okay, this one, and on this other side it's this stitch. Okay, so make sure the stitches on this side and also on the other side are the same, and the part where we are doing the joining will be at the back of your work and it's at the middle. Okay, now let us go to the 1, 2, 3, let's go to the 4th row. So I've already chained 2, So go ahead and make 2 chains if you haven't yet. Then let us start the next row. You're going to yarn over, and into the first stitch you'll do a double crochet, then into the next front post, into the next 2, 1 double crochet in each, then a front post, then 1 double crochet in the next 2, just like that, then to the next one a front post, into the next 2, 1 double crochet in each. So you'll keep doing this up to the point where you have the stitch marker, then we'll do the increase there. So let me just continue with mine first, then we'll meet at the point where we have the stitch marker. Now I'm at the point where we have the stitch marker, so I'm going to remove the stitch marker, and on that stitch you're going to do a double crochet front post, then replace your stitch marker, and now you're going to do the increase. So yarn over and into the same stitch, but now on top of it just do 2 double crochets there. So 1 and 2 into the same stitch, then you're going to yarn over and into the same stitch you're going to do a front post double crochet. Okay, then you're going to yarn over and go to the next stitch, which is this one. You're going to do 2 double crochets there, then you're going to yarn over and into the stitch which had the stitch marker, this one, you're going to put a double crochet front post there, that way. Then you're going to yarn over and go to the next stitch, which is this one, with 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. Then you are now going to continue. So the next stitch is a front post double crochet, just like that, and we have done the increase. So go to the next one with 1 double crochet in the next 2, then a front post, and just repeat the same pattern up to the next stitch marker. Then you're going to do an increase there. I'm almost getting to my next stitch marker, my second stitch marker. Now we are at the next stitch marker, so you're going to remove it, and into that stitch you're going to do a front post double crochet, then into the same stitch on top of it you're going to do 2 double crochets. Don't replace your stitch marker yet. Then yarn over and into the same stitch do a front post double crochet, then yarn over and go to the next stitch with 2 double crochets, then yarn over and come back to the stitch which you had marked with a front post double crochet. Then you're going to replace your stitch marker now, that way. Then yarn over and go to the next stitch with 2 double crochets in 1 stitch, just like that. Then yarn over and just continue. Now the next stitch is a front post double crochet, then 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, then a front post, and just repeat the same pattern now up to the end of the row. Now I'm done with this row. Then you're going to slip stitch to the first stitch, chain 2, and this is how it looks like at the increase. Okay, then you're going to turn your work, and now let's go to the next row. So you're going to yarn over and into the first stitch you do a front post double crochet, and in this row you're not going to do any increase because you're working on the wrong side of our work. We only do the increases when you're working on the right side. So on this row we'll just work 1 stitch on each stitch all round, and when you get to the part where you have the stitch markers, you'll just remove them, work on that stitch and replace your stitch marker. Don't do any increase, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. So let me just show you how you're going to work when you get to the stitch marker. I'm almost getting to the first stitch marker. So when you get to the stitch with the stitch marker, you remove it, and in that stitch I'll place a double crochet and replace your stitch marker. No, you're not going to do any increase here, and then you'll just continue. So the next two will be just one double crochet front post, and also on the next one. Then the next will be a double crochet, and the next two will be a front post double crochet. And now just continue with the same pattern all round. When you get to the next stitch marker, just remove it, work on that stitch and replace your stitch marker, and you're going to meet at the end of the row. When you get to the end, you're going to slip stitch to the first stitch, then chain 2, and that is how you're going to end each row. Now on the next row, you're going to do another increase. So 1 2 3 4 5. I'm on row 6. So let us start. You're going to yarn over, and into the first stitch you do a double crochet. How you start it is just the same. Then the next one is a front post, then one double crochet in the next two, then a front post. So I'm going to continue with this up to the stitch marker, then we'll do the increase together. I'm almost getting to my next stitch marker. Now I'm on my first stitch marker, so you're going to remove it, and in that stitch you're going to do a double crochet front post and replace your stitch marker that way. Then into that same stitch, now on top of it here, you're going to do 2 double crochets into the same stitch, then yarn over, and into the same stitch you're going to do a front post. Okay, then now you're going to continue. So into the next 2 stitches you're going to do 1 double crochet in each. So you realize that we did more increases here than here, and the reason is because I placed more increases here to compensate the increases we should have done on the second row. Okay, and you can't do an increase on the second row because the pattern is not yet established, so you can't know exactly where to place the increase. So that's why we did 2 increases here. So from the next rows onward, you're going to do the increases just like what you are doing right now. Okay, so now I'm just going to continue with the same pattern up to my next increase, up to my next stitch marker. Then I'll show you how to do the increase there. Now I'm almost getting to my second stitch marker. Now I'm on my second stitch marker. You're going to remove it, and into that stitch you're going to do a front post double crochet, and don't replace your stitch marker yet. Don't do the way we did on the first stitch marker. Okay, so into that stitch you're going to do a double crochets on top of it. So place 2 double crochets there. Now yarn over and place a front post double crochet into the same stitch, and now you can replace your stitch marker. So you realize that on the first stitch marker, after your first front post, you are placing your stitch marker. but on the second one you are doing the increase, then you place your stitch marker on the last front post. And there's a reason for that. When you finish your work, you'll see it, so don't confuse it and place your stitch markers anyhow you want. Okay, just do as I say. So now go to the next 2 stitches with 1 double crochet in each. And earlier when you were at this stitch marker, I explained why we placed just one box here. We are doing less increases on the 6th row than on the 4th row. So from this row going forward, any increases you're going to do on the next rows, you're just going to repeat what you did on the 6th row. No more doing more increase like this, just like this. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now I'm just going to continue now up to the end of the row. Now I'm done with my 6th row, and this is how your work is looking like at this point. So we have the increases here and here. Okay, and that is how it looks like. So you're going to go to the next row, which is the 7th row, and you're going to do 1 stitch in each stitch all round. Just repeat what you did on the 3rd row or on the 5th row. It's just the same thing. When you get to the stitch marker, you remove it, work on it, and replace your stitch marker, and just continue all round. Then when you get to the end, you slip stitch, chain 2, and turn your work, and you'll go to row 8. On row 8, you're going to repeat what we did on row 6. Okay, you're going to do an increase here, just like what we did on row 6, not on row 4. Okay, repeat row 6, and you're going to repeat that now. You're going to keep alternating between row 5 and row 6, row 5 and row 6, until you achieve your hip measurements. Okay, so I'm going to continue until I achieve hip measurements that will measure 40 inches, and you're going to meet after that. So take your hip measurements also, and you're going to work until you achieve that when you stretch your work. Okay, so continue, and you're going to meet after that. Now I'm done doing my increases, and this is how it looks like. So I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We did increases on 6 rows, and remember the first one we did 2 increases. Okay, when I say 2 increases, I mean this block, like groups of 3. So we did 6 stitches extra here, then 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay, so in total we increased 7 times. Okay, now let's take the measurements and see. So when it's not stretched, it measures almost 17 inches, but this can stretch up to 20 inches, because I was looking for 40 inches in hip measurements. So this is okay. So when you have achieved your hip measurements, you're going to remove your stitch markers, because you'll not need them anymore. You're not going to do any more increases. So from this point, you're just going to continue, no more increases, just 1 stitch in every stitch all round, and keep maintaining the same pattern up to the point where you're going to switch the color to color green. Okay, so that is optional also. You can just continue all the way up to the end, and then we'll meet after that. But if you want to switch the color like mine, I'll meet you when we are almost at that point. So continue, and you're going to meet when we are almost done. Now I'm at the point where I need to change the color. So I have made 32 rows in total. So let's go ahead and switch the color. So you're going to switch the color on the odd number row. Okay, like the 3rd, the 7th, the 9th row. Okay, so let's go to the next row. So I'm going to switch to green. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back to the previous row and undo it, just the last stitch, and you're going to slip stitch, but using the next color now, and don't cut your yarn. So just pick your next color, attach, and make your slip stitch, and that way we have joined. Now you're going to chain 2 and turn your work. And now just repeat the same pattern. The first stitch is a front post, then 1 double crochet in the next, then 1 front post in the next 2, just repeat the same pattern. The only difference is just we've changed the color. So I'm just going to continue with this all round, and when you're done with this row, you're going to go to the next row with the same color. So you're going to do 2 rows of the green, then I'll meet you after that so that you can switch to the purple. And this is how it looks like on the right side. Okay, so walk all round and go to the next row with the same color, then I'm going to meet you after that. Now I've made the 2 rows, this one and this one. So now you're going to switch back to our purple. So finish this row with a slip stitch, but now you're going to leave this one and pick the purple from behind and finish your slip stitch with it, just like that. Then you're going to chain 2 and turn your work. Okay, then you're going to continue the same pattern. So you're going to do 2 rows of the purple, then switch back to the green. Okay, so just maintain the same pattern. So you're going to do 2 rows of the purple, then you're going to switch back to the green for the next 2 rows, then switch back to purple. Okay, then you're going to meet after you're done with that, then you're going to work on the waist. Now I'm done working on the skirt on the lower part. So we did 2 rows here, 2 rows here, 2 rows and 2 rows here. Okay, so this is how it looks like, and this is the front of your work. So let's go ahead and do the last thing. So you're going to make a string of chains that you're going to use to fasten the waistline. So let's go ahead and do that. So I was using a single strand for the skirt, but now I'm going to double the strand so that it can be a little thick. Okay, and just go ahead and make chains that is enough for your waist, and give it a little allowance to tie at the back. Okay, so now I'm done making the chains that I needed, so let's go ahead and attach it. So this is the front part of your work, and this is the back of your work. The back of your work is where you are doing the joining of the rows. Okay, so let's go ahead and attach it. So you can tie it at the back or at the front, but I choose to tie it at the back. So you're going to attach it to the first row here. So let me just attach it, then you'll see. And I'm going to attach it on these rows, the ones which on the second row you are doing the front posts. Okay, so skip 2 and go to the next one. Just like that. So go ahead and attach it all round, and when you're done with that, you're just going to remove all the loose ends and you'll be done, guys. So thank you so much for watching, and we have a matching top for this, so please go ahead and watch that. I'm going to leave a link to that at the description box below. So if you're new here, please subscribe and click the notification bell so that you don't miss out every time I post a tutorial. So that is it, guys. See you.